What's up, everybody? Welcome to BioWest 3 Raw TV. Tonight we're going to talk about a topic that has been in debate for fucking eons, right? So most of the time, the argument is made by vegans that eating meat basically will give you cancer, and this study links this to this study links that to that. And then if you look at all the people that actually eat meat, it's very hard to find somebody who eats meat that does not take part in some kind of other random risky behavior, right? Like alcohol consumption. Most times the people that are eating meat are not just eating like a piece of steak. They're eating processed meats. They're, like I said, not on the keto diet, so they're eating carbohydrates with the meat. So they're having sugars, fats together, high calorically dense meals, which push up cholesterol, push up body weight, change blood pressure. Yeah, I mean, you could have some health complications. So there's been this debate like for a long time. However, we've seen people on keto diets have the opposite effect happen, like better blood work. It's, not everybody, but it's like some people's bodies are wired towards a high fat, low carbohydrate diet, and we don't see them having problems, right? So bear with me. So some new, I don't want to say study came out, but some new argument came out that, we have finally figured it out. And like Harvard Health published this thing. Now, I don't know when this was. People are saying it's new, but it's not saying when this came out. So I'm not sure exactly, how new this is. It doesn't really say. So I don't know if it was like today, last week, 2 months ago, I'm not really sure, but it's like the newest, right? This is a study linking red meat and mortality lit up the media in more ways than one. Hundreds of media outlets carried reports about the study. Headline writers had a field day with the entries like "Red Meat Death Study," "Will Red Meat Kill You?" and "Singing the Blues About Red Meat." The warning from a study done by researchers at Harvard School of Public Health sounded ominous. Every extra daily serving of unprocessed red meat, steak, hamburger, pork, etc., increased the risk of dying prematurely by 13%. Processed red meat, hot dogs, sausage, bacon, and the like upped the risk by 20%. The results were published by the Archives of Internal Medicine. The study included 121,000 men and women followed for an average of 24 years. All submitted information about their diets every 4 years, so they weren't controlled. They were just submitting. Anyways, for years over the course of the study, almost 24,000 of the participants died. Death rates among those who ate the most red meat were higher than among those who ate the least. Because this was the largest, longest study to date on connection between eating red meat and survival, the findings are worth paying attention to. But they aren't the last word on the topic. This is the problem with studies. It kills you. Doesn't kill you. Bad for you. Kind of good for you. May not be good for you. Wicked good for you. It really fucks with your head, right? A month ago, a Japanese study of more than 51,000 men and women followed for 16 years found no connection between moderate meat consumption up to 3 ounces a day and premature death. Last year, a study by different researchers from the Harvard School of Public Health, which is the same place that did this study, found no connection between eating unprocessed red meat, just regular steak, beef, and the development of heart disease and diabetes. There was a strong connection with eating processed red meat. So they're saying like the processed red meat, like ground beef and stuff like that, that caused the problems, right? So it says upping your risk of dying by 13% or 20% may nudge you towards becoming a vegetarian, but those who are relative risks, compare death rates in the group eating the least meat with those eating the most. The absolute risks, see them for unprocessed red meat, sometimes help tell the story a bit more clearly. These numbers are somewhat less scary. Now, here's the thing. Not only was it not controlled, right? But you had people that were eating the most amount of red meat. And I'm like, what the fuck does that mean? Because we've seen people on keto eat red meat every day, and not only is their blood work fine, but they don't die early. Their blood work gets better, their health markers get better, inflammation goes down. And that's like them eating it every day. Now, the problem that I have is the people that are eating more red meat, like I said, right? They're eating more red meat. So maybe they have steak every single day, right? Those people, how do they know they didn't partake in alcohol consumption that would be, I'd say, more than moderate? How do they not know that they were including things like massive amounts of sugar along with this red meat, massive amounts of calories? Because let's face facts, if you're eating a steak, most people are just not going to eat a steak. Put a steak on a plate and eat it. You're going to have a steak, you're going to have mashed potatoes, you're going to have biscuits, you're going to have bread, you're going to have fucking whatever, you're going to have dessert afterwards, right? So it's possible that these people eating this red meat were consuming too many calories, which made them heavier, right? Put on weight, because they were eating all these other things with it. Alcohol consumption, all these things that they didn't take into account and didn't say anything about. Like, oh, I ate a steak and fucking died early. What? What the fuck else was he doing? Were they exercising? Were they not exercising? Were there any predispositions towards heart disease, health markers, diabetes? What the fuck was going on? They just said, oh, we picked 121,000 people and fucking ran a study. But there's so many things that are contributing factors as to why this might not be accurate, that until you read that, you're like, oh my God, red meat's going to kill you. But they did say the processed red meat compared to the other ones showed more. Now, here's the problem I have with, not the problem, and here's another thing with that. People that are eating processed red meat, like hamburgers and shit like that, are even more likely to have riskier, I don't want to say riskier, but worse eating habits than the people that are just eating a steak. I know because I've lived both lifestyles. I have friends that live both lifestyles. I've been around it my entire life. You have people that just refuse to eat stuff like junk food that would still eat a steak, but you have people that would eat junk food that would include not just hamburgers and processed meats like turkey, processed ham and shit that, like, you know, we shouldn't eat, like slices and shit like that, right? Sausage, fucking all this crap like that. The people that are eating that stuff had the higher death rate. Well, yeah, because they're eating more garbage to begin with. So is it really the food? Because it was like the span of like 24 years, right? So over 24 years, you know, if they said like people starting eating red meat the next year they fucking died, I'd be like, holy shit, we gotta back off. Like, we gotta fucking stop. But they were like, over 24 years, do you know what happens to people's bodies in 24 years? Like, there are all kinds of things within 24 year span, like predispositions for cancer that had nothing to do with any kind of dietary thing, predispositions for diabetes that had nothing to do with anything diet-wise. We've had people have heart attacks. Well, maybe they had a predisposition for heart attack. Maybe they got really heavy from eating too much food and the steak happened to be in there with it. But realistically, all of these fucking things that they're talking about, none of it was a controlled study. But they shove this in the public's face and they go, oh, see, eating red meat's going to kill you 13% faster. Now, let's say we took all the other variables out. We had just people eating one steak a day. What the fuck happens then? Why don't we do that control study? As a matter of fact, the Japanese study showed that people that are eating 3 ounces of steak, not processed, per day, which, I mean, not many people eat 3 ounces of steak a day, but even myself, maybe I eat beef like maybe once a week, unless Nutrition Solution has it in their meals, then I'll have it maybe up to 3 or 4 times a week. But I have my good friend John Sikoris from Titan Medical. He's the owner of Titan Medical. Him and Sharice, they're the owners of Titan Medical, and John eats filet every day, 2 to 3 times a day. Blood work is perfect, inflammation is perfect, health markers are perfect. So how would you explain that? And he's been doing it for years. So you have somebody that basically lives on red meat, and he also eats carbohydrates. He's not restricting himself to where he's, you know, I think he does very IFYM. If he feels like having a potato, or if he feels like having rice or whatever, I know that every once in a while he likes to have a drink or two when he hangs out with Sharice and stuff. So now you kind of look at it and go, okay, so you got plenty of people out there that red meat doesn't affect. You know, there's one study that affected 13%. And none of it was controlled to the fact that we can tell that they were just eating red meat but doing everything else right. Maybe they don't exercise. Maybe that's another key to it. Now, and I'm just sitting there going, because let's face facts, the people that are into really eating hamburgers and stuff, that are into eating more of the junk food, don't exercise as much as people that are eating cleaner foods and really into the health stuff. So that would automatically make those numbers go up that they saw. Now, I'm not saying the study is right or wrong. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is you have to look at things for what they really are. What you get fed by somebody who has an agenda, because this study didn't have an agenda. They clearly said we didn't really pay attention. They just reported later on and da-da-da. Like they were upfront about it. They weren't like, no, we had everybody in lockdown and they just ate 1 piece of steak with 2 ounces a day and they fucking died. They were upfront with it. However, somebody with an agenda can easily take what was written there. The way I explained it to you is the way that it's true. That's the truth. Like, you know, these results came like that, but they're like, well, you know, still, like, we had other places that were more controlled and they said it didn't happen. Like, they even found studies to contradict what they actually did themselves, right? That's science. Science is trying to prove something wrong, and when it's not proven wrong, they go, okay, well, this is a fact until we can find something to prove it wrong. When it is proven wrong, they don't get pissed that their shit was proven wrong. They go, cool, we found another thing. Let's work on that. They jump to the next thing and start working on that. There's no agenda. So I look at it, and, you know, the big thing that really pisses me off is there's going to be a lot of people out there that will argue to fucking no end because of an opinion or because of personal preference. Like, they don't believe eating meat is good. I don't eat pork. I haven't eaten pork in 10 years. That's my personal preference. However, I don't fucking damn people for doing it every day. Somebody's eating a pork chop in front of me, I don't slap it out of their hand and fucking yell at them. Somebody's eating ham in front of me, eat a fucking ham sandwich. What do you want me to do about it? I don't give a fuck. Knock yourself out. Who gives a shit? I think that really what it boils down to is just like anything else that we see out there in the mainstream media, scare tactics. People try to use scare tactics to get you to kind of go over to their train of thinking or their train of thought, their way of thinking, or to kind of back them up and become part of their group. We see this all the time. They literally just take things and manipulate it so they can get people to follow on their side and go, see, here's what it is, scare tactics. So, and this is a horrible, horrible thing, but I worked for a gym chain, the biggest gym chain in the world, biggest gym brand in the world. And they would teach us, which is something I don't do with my clients, that when someone came into the gym to join, they would have the personal trainers go with the sales guys sometimes, or they'd have the sales guys get the personal trainer do a TO, a takeover. And what they would do is take the person that comes in looking at the gym, and they would give them a fitness assessment. Now, you would think that, oh, this is so nice, they're doing this for me for free. No, they're doing this to break you down. Let me explain. If you can get someone to have an emotional experience, if you can get them to freak the fuck out, they're more likely to listen to the person that has a solution to their problem, okay, than do the opposite and not listen to them, okay? Now, what they do is Gold's, which is the gym chain, they would stand them on the fucking scale, get the scale weight, which is always high, right? They're wearing your clothes at the end of the day, eating, you're always like 10, 15 pounds heavier than you thought you were. You're like, oh, fuck. Then you do the fitness assessment. Your body fat always comes back high. They get the handheld fucking stupid fucking electrical impedance thing. Oh, you're fucking 37% body fat. Fuck, you're like 50 pounds overweight, 37% body fat. Hang on, let's take your blood pressure. Oh, shit, your blood pressure is 200 over 200. Like, oh, fuck, here we go. Oh, and this is your risk. You're at risk. Your BMI is too fucking high. And this person's like, holy fuck, I knew I had to work out, but oh my, I'm going to die. Like, how much time do you think I left? Am I going to be alive tomorrow? Like, they freak the fuck out. So now what happens is the trainer then can say, listen, I get it, man. I see this every day with people. You know, my mom was like this. I got her in shape, and I got her blood pressure under control. I myself used to be overweight, and I brought my weight down, and now I'm healthy, and I can do this for you. Like, that emotional experience that they had that scared the shit out of them is now you're comforting them, telling them that you're going to fix what is broken. All right? And now what happens is saying just for, because some of these places, this is the gym I train at now. It's like not the one at, not Retro Fitness, Export. 52 sessions is what they suggest you buy. And I was like, what the fuck? They were like, buy 10, get one free. Minimum 52 sessions. I was like, what the fuck? I'm like, holy shit. So as they're getting scared, they just want to live. They just want to be healthy. They don't want to fucking die. Here's my credit card. Boom. You know, we've seen this many times, and I'm not looking for a debate. I'm fucking telling you right now, my mom got breast cancer, and she saw my dad go through chemotherapy and radiation. My dad was very, very, very tough. A very tough fighter, and he was very strong constitute. All right, meaning like he was like a fucking horse. Like he never really got sick. Like he was just a fucking strong guy. And my mom said that after watching him go through that, he made it through chemotherapy, and he did get better for a few years before the cancer came back. But my mom said, I can't go through that. Like, I'm a lot more frail than he is. Like, I'm just not going to do chemotherapy, right? And they were like, oh, you're not making the right decision. They really tried to force her into the chemotherapy and shit. Well, it's been 2 years now, knock on wood. She's still cancer-free. They removed the breast tissue. She's cancer-free. She's on Rimidex and estrazinol. I can never say that word right. But the doctor the other day told her, for her checkup, that she'd made the right decision by not getting the treatments, because it probably would have killed her, and she's already gotten more time than possibly what those treatments could have bought her anyways, even if she did it. So technically, they told her she had cancer, and then right away they're like, you have to start chemotherapy right now. Well, they don't even really understand that it's going to kill her. They just automatically go. And they automatically figure, and I don't say figure, I'm not saying that the hospital sets this up, but most people's reaction, my mom just kind of stopped and thought and composed herself. Most people jump right into those therapies, which are extremely toxic and only work about 3% of the time. So 97% of the time, those therapies fail. But people jump into it right away because the emotional experience they just had was they got diagnosed with cancer. You just got told you got cancer, you're going to fucking die. So I call it, fuck, put the tubes in me now. Put the IV in, let's fucking do it. Let's start the chemotherapy now. Because of that emotional experience. That's how powerful it is. So people will use these studies. Oh, you're going to die if you eat meat. See? Go vegan, go vegetarian, rah, rah, rah. That's how they use their propaganda, by making these scare tactics that give you an emotional response, that from there they can manipulate it, because now you just want to be healthy. You want to live, and you think they have the key. They're your friend. They're going to help you. So be aware, guys. This is just another one of those things where this is good, this is bad. The eggs are good. Oh, eggs are bad. Oh, but egg whites are good. Yolk is bad. Oh, shit, it's all good. Fuck, maybe we don't know. It's been going on for years. I know bodybuilders that have been eating legitimately 2 to 4 dozen eggs a fucking day for years, and they're fine. No cholesterol, and they take fucking steroids on top of it. And they're overweight in the off-season, and their blood pressure is high. So you're trying to tell me none of that shit fucking killed them, but an average person, if they eat an egg a day, they're going to fucking drop dead? That's what one of the studies said. And I'm like, what the fuck? So you got to take it with a grain of salt. But be aware, guys, there is a lot of scare tactics that keep us in check. It's a way to keep us in line, keep us from not looking for the truth, not going out there and taking care of ourselves and being healthy. It's a lot of bullshit, and it's not the scientists' fault. The scientists report what they find, and 99% of the time it's so inconclusive because there's fucking reports on both sides. But those people that have the propaganda that want to use that for the scare tactics now have material. And I think that over the years I've done a fairly decent job at fucking poking holes in a lot of that shit where I get people fighting against me. But you know what? Fuck it. The truth is that most of us are being lied to. Most of us could just be just fine if we eat fucking beef once a week, once a month, whatever. We don't have to fucking eat beef every day. But fuck, I mean, we're not going to drop dead if we eat fucking beef. You know, it fucking kills you. But, you know, I do believe that there's something that we should kind of always look at the studies and try to find something that contradicts the study. If you see a study that scares you, go online and start Googling to try to find a study that contradicts that. And when you find data that contradicts that, sit back and calm the fuck down, because that means, plain and simple, it's inconclusive, and both of those things mean it could or couldn't be, but there's no reason to get all fucking bent out of shape and freak the fuck out like you're going to die tomorrow because you ate a fucking piece of steak. The same people that say, oh, you shouldn't eat fucking steak because it's bad for you, are eating fucking pixie sticks and drinking alcohol all the time and smoking fucking cigarettes, telling you not to eat fucking steak. I know vegans that smoke. What the fuck? So you're talking about health this, health that, health this? No. If you want to say the animals because you fucking love animals, it's fine. Health, 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 and I go smoke. What the fuck? So it's just contradictions all over the fucking place coming from you all around, all the time. And you have to make up your own mind. But hopefully you are armed with enough knowledge, they can't get to you. So if you look at these things and you pick that shit apart, like as soon as I read it, I was like, fuck this is what's going on. Once you get conditioned to pick shit apart and realize you need to read between the lines because the information's actually there, you'll be fine. BowserTraining@gmail.com. Leave comments down below, but don't fight. BowserTraining.com is the blog. You're going to be fine. Bicep. Just keep eating meat, and we are out.